I believe that everyone is creative and that our creativity is medicine, and not just for ourselves. It's our hope and our connection for a better world for all of us. I'm Ashley Riley, and this is Made of Dreams. Welcome to Made of Dreams. I'm Ashley Riley, and I am so happy you're here. This season of Made of Dreams is an exploration of the creative path using my lived experience as an indie artist for the last 15 years, as well as through the lens of tarot. I just want to kind of note right up top here, I keep saying the creative path and the creative life and being an artist and creator. And as I reflect on the episodes, I really don't want to limit it to that at all. I really feel like it's just kind of life lessons, and I'm coming at it from the point of view of who I am, an artist and a creative person, but I believe that we all are. I just don't want me saying that to turn anyone who doesn't think of themselves in that way away. We are talking about things like jealousy and comparison and procrastination and being critical of yourself, and that can really apply to anything. At the end of the day, I think that the journey I'm on is really just learning to honor and love myself and see how that ripples out into the people and places around me. So I know that even if you don't particularly think of yourself as an artist, there will be something here for you, my friend. And as a bonus, each week we're doing a little card pull for the topic. I think starting in September, I'm going to try an episode where I pull a card for each week and the energy, just as something fun to look back on and see how it resonates. So that will be coming soon. But today, we are talking about something near and dear to my heart, and that is the power and the joy and the importance of community. I was just reflecting on how the people I've met on my path have been beacons of light along the way, shining and inspiring me, and also showing me where I need to step up or maybe even step aside to make room for others. They say it's lonely at the top, but I don't think it has to be. I really think that if we look to the side and see who's in the trenches of life with us, instead of always trying to look so far ahead or look at people up on a pedestal that we put them on, it will actually be more of a party at the top. I think of the story about crabs in a bucket, where if you put a single crab in a bucket, it's fully capable of climbing out. But if there are more than one crab in the bucket, they're all trying to get out and like clawing and grabbing at each other, and none of them can climb out because they pull each other back down. That is not what we want. And I felt that energy before. I've also been, like at networking events where, you meet somebody and you can just tell that when they're talking to you, they've already decided like, this person isn't really worth my time. They're kind of looking around behind you. They're not in the conversation with you. And they're just like waiting to see whoever, like if they can be seen by whoever they think is the most important person in the room. And I clock that energy immediately, and it gives me the ick. And honestly, I know they're doing me a favor. So even though we're talking about the importance of community, always use your discernment and follow your gut when it comes to who you invest your time and energy into in a networking type of experience. I've definitely had the experience of putting myself out there and not being received well, or saying hi to someone who kind of snubs me, and doesn't feel good, but you know what? I would do it again. Sometimes you have to be the kind-hearted example because more than likely, they've also had that same type of experience as I just described. So the good, the bad, the ugly, we're going in. But first, it's time for Weekly Obsession. Weekly Obsession, where I share what's lighting me up, because sharing is caring and I care about you. So this week, I'm absolutely loving. Okay, I'm going to tell you about my latest workout challenge that I'm loving. I like to switch it up. I love walking, doing cycling workouts on the Peloton, foam rolling, rebounding, bar, dance, yoga, and most recently, Pilates. I had tried Pilates before, but never got too into it. And a few times I've done a Peloton Pilates and the workout, I'm like, ooh, this is a good ab thing, but it never really stuck until a client of mine told me about Pilates by Izzy and her 25-day challenges on YouTube. So, as far as I can tell, she's got two 25-day challenges, and they're generally like 25 minutes a day for 25 days, and they cover lots of core work and strength. And full transparency, don't judge me, or do, I actually don't care. I'm starting my third round of the first 25-day challenge because we went on vacation halfway through my first one and I couldn't find my travel yoga mat, and I didn't want to roll around on like a dirty hotel room floor or like a hotel towel. It just didn't seem like it was going to work. So when we got back, I got started at the beginning again because that's who I am as a person. And it was crazy because I had only got to day 13. And so when I started again, I was like shocked because I felt noticeably stronger the second time through on those workouts. And then I got braces and I kind of took some time off. So starting again, but I highly, highly, highly recommend Pilates with Izzy on YouTube. I'm so excited to finish the challenge and see how much stronger I feel. I've already noticed a difference in my arms and my abs, and I can kind of see like a little tricep building, and that is super fun. So thanks, Jamie, for recommending that to me. It's my weekly obsession. And now let's get into this week's topic and card pull. I used Angie Banicki's Explorer of the Soul deck, and it's quickly becoming one of my faves because her guidebook is kind of a lighthearted burst of energy. That's one thing about learning the tarot and working with different decks is you start to realize that they all offer a different flavor, and depending on that like topic or mood, I kind of choose which one I'm going to use based on that. My OG, like go to, is of course Kat Pierce's Wandering Star Tarot, and that's the one I reach for a lot. It's very soulful and deep, and it feels right when it comes to introspection and growth and that kind of thing. And then the Explorers of the Soul feels nice for bigger picture type of things like community. And so that's what we've got today. I also decided to try adding her layer of like musical tarot. And so I've got one of my all-time favorite playlists playing silently in the background. And when I move through each card, I'll see what song is playing at the beginning and then at the end of my little deep dive on the card. So once again, I did my 3-card pull featuring the heart, the ache, and the pulse. So let's get into it. All right, we're talking about community, the joy and the importance, and maybe even the challenge of finding it. For the heart, I pulled the 8 of Pentacles. For the ache, I had pulled the Page of Wands. And for the pulse, I pulled the Knight of Swords. So here we go. The heart. The 8 of Pentacles as the heart. An interesting pull here, so let's break it down. And by the way, What You Don't Know by Caroline Spence is playing. So the 8 of Pentacles is seen as a mastery card. It's a card of hard work and diligence. The Pentacles are the earth element and the earth signs. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Pentacles relate to things we have, things we do, and this is a very positive card. It's about, putting in those 10,000 hours and actually enjoying it. It's like a whistle while you work kind of thing. You love what you're doing. And on the card, we see a figure working hard at creating and refining the coins that they make. They're fully immersed and show great care and attention to detail. There's a town kind of off in the back, showing that they're a little isolated while they work on their craft. And this makes sense in terms of what we were talking about, especially in the episode 209 last week, the loneliness of art and creating. This image here shows that physical isolation, but in a way that shows the care and consistent effort that lead to your success. So this card could indicate that others look up to you in your field and admire the work that you're doing. It might also be a chance to share what you're doing with your community if you're someone who tends to keep to yourself. The community in the back of this picture shows there is a community there. And being a part of a community it isn't just showing up, it's also contributing. So I know for me, I got my start by going to open mics, and then I was hosting them. And then I even met my band members at an open mic. I remember being in the back of the bar talking to some friends and other, people that had played and saying, "Yeah, I'd really love to have a band. It seems like it would be so fun." And one of the guys was like, "Okay, come over Sunday and I'll get a group of guys together." And I did. And you know what? For almost a decade, that was the Ashley Riley Band. We would share shows with other friends and bands, and none of that would have happened had I not left my living room where I sat and wrote my songs and was like, "Man, I wish I could go play a show." And then I did. I went to open mics. I've always also been someone who's joined online communities and classes, and I've met some amazing friends and collaborators in these online spaces. In fact, all of my sync placements where my songs were played on TV shows have come from songs I wrote with people I met in an online class. So this card also has that component of studying your craft and maybe taking a class and finding your community there as well. You never know what will happen when you're open to working with others, what you might learn, what you might create. And to be honest, if you go from one person to two, it kind of doubles your reach with who you know, who your audience is. And so I think it's a win-win. If there's a class or a group or something you're considering, this card is a yes. So I say go for it and, work hard, but remember that a big part of it is enjoying the journey. If you're miserable while you're working at it, you're not going to magically enjoy it when you get to a certain level. So work in a way that is supportive of you as a person and you will never lose. And with that, I See You by Phoebe Bridgers is playing, whatever that means. Okay, let's tend to the ache, which is the Page of Wands. And the song just switched to The Raven by Jen Grant. I'm going to make a little playlist for this episode to put in the show notes. Oh, this is so fun because I could play them on Stationhead too. Yay! Okay, here we go. The Page of Wands as the ache. So it's a court card. It's a fire element. So that fiery Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo energy. This card is all excitement and energy and no real commitment. It's just kind of buzzing with ideas and the thrill of it all. Kind of the opposite of the Eight of Pentacles. On this card, we see a page standing with his staff of wands in a barren desert. He's wearing a tunic with salamanders on it, which can represent the transformation from bad to good. He's looking at his wand, sprouting little leaves like, look at that. It kind of says like, there's nothing here in this landscape already growing, but these ideas are sprouting and have the potential to grow. This is big dreamer energy, where the Eight of Pentacles was attention to detail. So this could look like going from one thing to the next without really committing and putting in the work, where the Eight of Pentacles indicates someone who is seen as a master, a hard worker, someone who shows up and does put in the work. The Page of Wands has all the energy and excitement, but may not have the courage to go forward with the idea. So I see this card as an invitation to overcome that, to boldly go forward. And in terms of community, you want to be seen as someone who shows up. This is the courage to be that new person in the room, the courage to maybe look like a beginner if that's what it takes. So I feel like the ache in this position is just pushing past the fear, out of the comfort zone, and knowing that the ideas will flourish with dedication. And the song right now playing is Nobody Dies Anymore by Jeff Tweedy. Fun fact, I think his son plays drums on this one, which is pretty cool. And I hope that one day my son will play drums on a song for me because he's a little drummer. Okay, let's check the pulse, which is the spark or the action or the energy to lean into. Kind of the bridge between the heart and the ache, if you will. And the song that just came on is Keep This Love Alive by the Rainbow Girls. So the Knight of Swords is the pulse. This is a card of action. Swords are the mind. They are the air element. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. This is a smart, daring, maybe a touch impulsive knight. He represents decisive action and quick thinking, a time when you feel energized and believe that you can do anything. This knight shows that you've got the courage, the eagerness, and the ability to figure it out. On the card, we see a knight charging forward into a storm of wind and lightning and on his powerful white horse. His sword is held high and his dedication to the mission is on full display. Action and energy. This card is bold. The only caution here is that with all that quick motion, to make sure you aren't being reckless. Make sure you're not jumping to conclusions or being short sighted, or in the terms of community, saying yes to everything in an effort to be part of something. Check how you feel. Is this aligned? Is this community or group what that excited page was dreaming up? This is a powerful card. And so, in terms of community, this can be being able to get to the heart of matter quickly, being able to focus and get things done quickly, and being a leader, even taking action, but remembering to take the right action. As I like to remember, swords can be productive or destructive, depending on how we wield them. And the song playing right now is Society by Eddie Vedder. So that seems like a good place to call it. This was an interesting little spread, and my closing thought on it as a whole would be to know that you have, like the Eight of Pentacles, you have the ability with dedication to master your skill, to keep going, enjoy the ride, and reach out and find community in a class or an event in your own hometown. Share what you're doing with those around you. With the page, remember to dream and craft a vision, and like the knight, take action, but be sure to stay aligned with the dream and with what feels right in your heart. So I'd love to know if that resonates for you. I definitely feel like this is an inspiring little check-in, and I'd love to know what you think. You know, like I said up top, there are so many people that I've met along my path in this music journey that I've taken on. Sometimes it's like one person that you meet and you don't know how much they're going to change your life, or like the people that they will introduce you to. It's interesting because a dear friend of mine, Rebecca, shout out to Rebecca if you happen to listen to this, but her and I met in an online class in probably like 2015 or 16 and ended up writing songs together every Monday on Zoom or Skype, or I don't remember what we were using at the time, but we wrote songs together every Monday for like a year. And then she was really active in co-writing and things like that. And she had all of these other people that she wrote with, you know, with some regularity as well, and invited us all to a songwriting retreat in the Poconos. And I was so excited to go. And I was a little nervous too. I was raised in the 80s with after school specials. If any of you guys know about after school specials, like my sisters and I would come home and my mom would be like, girls, I have an after school special. And she would have like some snacks for us and make us sit down and watch this like cautionary tale about, you know, getting murdered or something. And my mom really thought I was like, you know, flying to my death whenever I went to this songwriting retreat in the Poconos. But that was life-changing for me. I met so many people that I still talk with today. I met my partner in the Magnolia Janes, Sarah, at that first retreat. And then over the next handful of years, we started traveling together and going to conferences together, and then formed a duo together. And we've put out an album. We toured from Nashville to New York and back. We had our songs, you know, chart on the folk radio, all because of one action that I took of joining a class and putting myself out there to co-write with someone I didn't know. Rebecca was my first co-write ever, and, you know, she's changed my life. And then another class that I took on sync songwriting and getting your songs in film and TV led to some really cool relationships with people that I still talk with and have had placements with. So I think sometimes we think of community, and I know I do too, because I don't live in a music town. I live in a small town. And so I go to Music City and I try to be active in my own local scene as much as I'm able to. But sometimes I think we think of community in a way where it is all in person, and that is beautiful and that is needed, and I love it. But I do just want to give you a nudge. If there is a group or a class or something that's calling to you that is credible, of course, look and make sure that the people who are doing these classes actually have success in the industry, because that's one thing, especially for artists. It's like a lot of people make money off the backs of artists because we're just all trying so hard to get our voices out there. And so, you really want to make sure and have a credible person, but it can be really life-changing. And I would love to hear what you think. I would love to hear if you've had an experience like me where you've met people that are lifelong friends that you never would have met otherwise. Well, I hope this resonates with you. I hope it was helpful. Head over to Made of Dreams Podcast on Instagram, follow along and say hello. I would love to hear from you. If you are enjoying this podcast, please consider subscribing and leaving a 5-star review on your platform of choice. If you'd like to learn more about me or the show, head over to madeofdreamspodcast.com, sign up for the Dreamers Digest, and get my creative state checklist to help keep you in the flow. And remember, I have started a brand new YouTube channel for Made of Dreams Podcast, complete with full video. I don't know where you're listening to or from or whatever, but if you are on Apple Podcasts, it's strictly audio. But if you're on Spotify or YouTube, there's a full video. I show the cards as I'm talking about them, and you can see me in all my glory with my adult braces as I'm like getting used to these metal things cutting up my mouth. It's great. It's going to be great. Yeah, it really is. Okay, I'm going to leave you with a song of mine. In the meantime, dream on.
Gonna love, gonna leave. Gonna take you back, honey. Take what you please. And I don't ask nothing from you. Give what you got. I don't care what you do. And I'm not counting on you, man. I'm counting you out. Don't ask my forgiveness. You don't need it now. I know I'm more than you. I'm setting you free. It ain't for the money, no, it ain't for the views. It ain't for the faint of heart, honey, it chooses you. Gonna keep you up in the still of the night. Lead you down the rabbit hole, keep you chasing that